What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is a podcast called Behind the Click and Cliff. Beyond Click and Cliff, not behind me. Anyway, this is a podcast where you listen to me in the background while you do stuff and do other things and work Lego, mow the yard, clean the house, whatever. You just have me on the background. Maybe I'll make you cry, laugh, get mad, whatsoever. And today, I don't know. I think I'm just going to talk about my week or 2 weeks, week and a half. You all know that I don't know, some of you may know that my mother-in-law came and living with us for just a little bit. And me and her, we get along, but a lot of times we don't. And I don't know if that is everybody's in-laws or whatever, but I try to get along with everybody. But there's some cases that don't happen. Now, I would never let her go without whatever. She's an elderly woman now. I'm not going to talk bad or crap about her because, she could be a sweet person at some point in her life. I think I got the bad part. I don't know. But I'm not going to bash her on this video because that's not what I want to do. And, let her move in here. And yes, it's a new thing that we got to adjust and all that stuff. She's got her habits. I have mine. She's set in her ways. And I'm setting in my ways. And I totally can get it, I guess. But, I was always going to be respectful in somebody else's house and stuff like that. And she for the most part, is. But I tell you what, man, my anxiety has gone up since she's moved in. I don't know if it's because she's the in-laws part of it or somebody new in my territory, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what you call it, but it's a weird situation sometimes. My wife, she's trying to make the best of it, she's going through a little bit of time to herself. Everybody knows that knows what's going on. But we do clash, and that's what I kind of want to talk about, clashing. Because I see things one way and she sees things a different way. And I'm like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, in my mind. In her mind, she thinks she's doing the right way. I don't know. But, a couple of podcasts before, I talked about, disciplining, how I was disciplined. And the other day, I was talking to my daughter, and she was sitting there, and then next thing I hear her 2 cents. And I'm like, I looked at her, I was kind of put off by it. I was like, that's me and my daughter's conversation. You shouldn't really be putting your 2 cents in. You already raised your daughter, let me raise mine, kind of thing. I didn't say nothing. I just said, that's not the point that I'm making here. And she didn't like that. And of course, my mother-in-law gets mad because she thought I dismissed what she said. And finally, at the end of it, I had to tell her, I said, dude, I'm just trying to talk to my daughter the way I know how to talk to my daughter. There's some point you might take a step back and remember when you were a parent, when your kids was young, would you like somebody, your in-laws, putting input in it? And she agreed, and it wasn't nothing. It wasn't a bad disagreement or nothing. Went on from there. But I feel like sometimes I can't say what I need to say in my own house right now. It's weird. So weird. Anybody that knows me on here or in my personal life knows that I usually tell you what I think, and pretty quick. And I don't have a filter, and I won't ever have a filter. I've always been tell you what I think. You like it or you don't like it. If not, just to lose down the road. That's the way I always look at things. I mean, I'm a real nice guy. I mean, I'm open. I'm open-minded. I'm not a closed-minded guy. You tell me your side of it, I'll tell you my side. And if we agree, we agree. If we don't, we know that we agree to disagree. But I can still like the person. I can still communicate with the person. I can still go on my day. It doesn't matter what the little feud was. I can go on. It's fine. You know. But I don't know if anybody else has that situation because that is weird. But like I said, I'm not bashing the woman. She's an 80-year-old lady. She's lived her life. She's been through stuff herself, and I can't know what she thinks all the time. I don't go and dive into her brain or anything. I just go on my own way, and she can. I mean, so we live different lives. What I'm trying to say, we different lives. She lived hers, and I'm living mine, and the fact is, I was telling my daughter, hey, we're not really living this life for me anymore. I'm living this life for her because my legacy is with her now. Whatever I leave behind is hers, and it's up to her to do what she needs to do with it. And that was the whole conversation. It wasn't really discipline. We're just having a conversation, saying, I told my daughter, I set her down and said, look, you're old enough to know now that you make life how you live life how you make it, and I've made a lot of mistakes growing up. Me and my wife made a lot of mistakes in our marriage through this whole parenting thing, and now we're to the age where we're not living for us anymore. We are living for our child. What we have now is going to end up being hers. And my hobby, I told her, my hobby, you can do whatever you want when I die. Sell everything you can, make as much as you can of it, and try to live off that for a little bit. It ain't going to go very far, but it might give you a little bit of time to get yourself situated. And I told my wife the same thing. If I go before she does, that sell this stuff and make as much money off it as you can, and try to, do what you can with it. That's the whole thing. But that was the story. But my mother-in-law, she tries it. She's a godly woman. She's a nice lady. I'm not taking shots at her. My online friends, I take shots at everybody. It's just fun. But if I had to be honest and tell somebody about this woman, she's a good woman. Even though we don't agree on 90% of the stuff. She thinks one way, I think it different. She thinks of living day by day. I always try to look a little bit in the future. Plan for some things that may come up. Or I always think the worst of any situations, like, well, water faucet, well, we're going to lose the house, kind of thing. It could be, it could just be a washer. Well, nope, that's it. I'm losing the house. It's time to put it on the market. I know sometimes it's a bad way to look at it, but that's the way I look at things. I always try to plan for the worst. That way, if it's not the worst, it's a surprise and it makes me feel better. But if it is the worst, I'm already prepared for it. So that's that thing. But she just likes to live day by day, and what the thing is, and the biggest pet peeve of mine is she's 80 years old and she's handicapped. She's in a wheelchair. She can't do much for herself, and I understand. Yeah, I hate it for her. I get all these nurses coming in this house now, and they take care of her, which is fine. That's fine. But just, like, I get that. I'm okay with that. I know, understand. But she tries, still in her head, that she can still do some of the things as she could as a younger woman. And she finds herself in messes. And that's what aggravates me. The other day she was trying to put something up and she couldn't reach, but she was trying because she thought she could do it. So she went ask for help because she thinks it's a hinder for her to ask somebody to help her. And we keep telling her, no, ask, because you're making more of a mess by doing this than asking. It wouldn't be a big a mess, dropping plates, stuff like that. So, I mean, as a plate's a plate, you throw it away and move on. But trying to get her to understand that I may not be around to help clean it up. My wife, she's going to have surgery, so she's going to be laid up for a little bit. She's not going to be able to go in there and clean up after her. And then my daughter would be the one having to do it, and that's a whole different story. And don't read into much in that because she usually does help. But the thing is that she tries, and I guess I can appreciate her trying to do stuff. But it seems like it makes a bigger mess than what it was before, and tell her, dude, just stop, ask. So somebody will come in here and put the plate up for you or whatever it may be. And I care for the woman. I do. I don't want her to hurt herself when she tries to get up and walk and she can't. And I don't want her to hurt herself. So I tell her, dude, you can't do that. Sit back down. Let somebody take you there. And, well, I can do it. And I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I don't want you to break a hip and then it'll be worse on you. I do care. I'm not a total a-hole that some people may think that I am. I'm a nice guy. I do have a tender heart. I'm a big teddy bear. I may bark, but my bite don't break skin. So, I mean, I just wish she would just ask for help. That's the only thing I ask for is her just ask for help. Sometimes she does, sometimes she don't. But hey, my thing is, if you all live with your in-laws, and am I going through the same thing you all may be going through? Maybe I'm looking at it a totally different way. If I am, that's fine. Let me know in the comments so I can maybe be a better son-in-law. I don't know, but it could be something different. I don't know. And I know this one all my life. I mean, she was my Sunday school teacher when I was young, and she's always nice. She's still nice. But we still get on each other's nerves, and she's going to stay here for a little bit till we get her a place of her own or her situated somewhere else. I got to find a way to communicate and have a nicer conversation with her or get along, and that's the journey I'm on right now. Plus, I got other stuff going on too, but that was just what I wanted to come talk to, kind of ask you all that question in a long about way and tell you what's kind of going on. And like I said, maybe I'm looking at it wrong. And if I am, there's probably 9% of the time I am looking at it wrong. But if you tell me, give me, hey, maybe, who knows? But the in-laws, man, that's a tricky subject. And like I said, and she'll probably watch this podcast and probably yell at me. But you know what? At least I'm reaching out trying to ask your guys' opinion instead of doing it myself, because it could be a blowout fight if I did it myself. And that has happened before. So I'm trying to avoid that. I've been staying in my Lego room, doing more things in the Lego room. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to be it today. If you like it, please hit that like button down below. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. That'd be awesome. So be good to one another. Pay it forward. Be somebody's light and somebody's darkest cloud. Maybe you saying hi will make their day a lot better. A lot of hate going on in the world today. The world sucks out there today. If you can just be nice to one another, it's going to be a whole lot better. I promise you. The world ain't going to be mean. But right now it is. Hopefully you guys do well and be good. Just be nice to one another. That's all we can do. Guys, until the next one. Ta-ta.